Most AI policies increase legal risk rather than reduce it. Feeling behind is normal. The tools have outpaced the frameworks. A memo is not a defense against legal challenges. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you why most AI policies actually create more legal risk than they remove. 3 numbers you need to remember. 78% of employees use AI at work without proper oversight. Less than 30% of employers have specific AI tool policies. Undocumented AI use fails in court under the willful misconduct standard. And 0% of that undocumented use survives the willful misconduct standard in court. Here is the big domino. Most leaders believe a written policy is governance. It isn't. Take a 600-person firm I had worked with. They had a policy banning external AI, but no audit trail. When a staff member pasted privileged info into an AI tool, that policy didn't save them because it was just a memo. It wasn't enforceable governance. If you walk away with one thing, let it be this. A policy is not governance. Documented governance is. Let's look at a second example of where the policy-only approach fails. Consider an HR firm that deployed an AI tool to streamline hiring by filtering for candidates likely to take extended leave. They thought they were being efficient. Instead, the AI created a demographic wall, removing 100% of all women between the ages of 18 and 40. There was no intent to discriminate in their written policy, but because they lacked a documented stack and a risk register, they had no way to audit the decision-making logic. By the time they realized the AI had gone rogue, they weren't just looking at a hiring glitch, they were looking at a class action lawsuit for systemic bias. This is why we say you need agentic accountability. You cannot manage what you cannot audit. So what should we take away from these examples? Lack of training records to support policies, no bias testing, and a total absence of audit trails are exactly what regulators are judging your AI deployments on today. When you implement delayed restrictions, you aren't fixing the problem. You are highlighting your past exposures. And remember, banning tools without providing an approved alternative doesn't stop the work. It just leads to even riskier behavior in the shadows. What most believe, our policy covers us. Here are the 4 failures that turn a standard AI policy into a legal trap. There are 4 primary AI governance failures. Failure 1. Policy without training. The willful misconduct standard requires you to prove your employees were actually trained on the rules. If you can't produce a signed training log, your policy may be legally invisible. Failure 2. Condoned historical exposure. This is the confession trap. If you issue a ban today for behavior leadership has silently allowed for months, you aren't enforcing a rule, you are documenting a period of negligence that may be indefensible in court. Failure 3. The executive vacuum. If a CEO issues a directive but the board never reviewed the risk, you have zero governance trail. You've bypassed the very oversight that protects the organization's officers. Failure 4. The ghost ban. If you ban a tool like ChatGPT without providing a vetted alternative, you haven't stopped the work. You've just pushed your staff into the shadows where they use unvetted tools with zero oversight and 100% of the risk. Yes or no, can you spot at least one of these in an organization you know? This is the shift from a single-page policy to a documented stack. This includes your system inventory, risk register, and a 90-day roadmap. Documented governance is what holds up when a regulator or plaintiff's attorney shows up. You don't need to be a tech expert to build this. You need to be a governance guide. If you want to move from liability to court-defensible documented, that is exactly what we certify you to do. Move from theoretical AI ethics to practical AICT audit infrastructure. Prove compliance in minutes, not months. Provide a logic engine to transition from pilot to production safely. The AICT framework closes the $987 billion security gap. And you will learn how to address unvetted shadow AI tools effectively, ensure all software is pre-audited for security and bias, and how to prepare your teams to work with AI effectively and efficiently. Education on the risk is only the first step. To solve the proof gap and the shadow gap we discussed, you need a repeatable framework. The CSAP certification was built to be that bridge, moving your organization or your clients from simple memos to a documented governance stack that actually holds up under scrutiny. Here is exactly what you need to learn to deliver that. There are 3 numbers that define your current risk profile. 78% of your employees are using AI tools at work right now. Under 30% of their employers have a policy that actually names specific tools. And 0% of that undocumented use survives the willful misconduct standard if it ends up in court. The gap between 78 and 30 is where shadow AI lives. The gap between 30 and 0 is the big domino we are here to knock down today. This is the AICT Certified Shadow AI Practitioner Program. This is the only certification built specifically to turn shadow AI exposure into a court-defensible governance framework. It includes 6 classes, 18 total hours of live instruction, and the exact documentation library you need to lead these engagements. This program is designed to hand you a complete, defensible governance framework. You are getting the same 9-layer documentation library we use to make client engagements profitable and legally sound from day one. Don't wait for the regulatory audit to find the gaps in your governance. Close your documentation debt today. I'll see you on the inside.